Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Tuesday. Today is a wonderful, beautiful Tuesday, and today we're going to continue learning about plants. So yesterday we started our science experiment. I planted some popcorn seeds that I showed you, and you and I together are going to keep track and look at them and see how they're growing. Today we're going to read an awesome story about flowers and how they grow, and it's called The Tiny Seed, because flowers start out as seeds. So the first thing I want us to do is practice two things in sign language. The first thing we're going to practice is seed, because all flowers start out as seeds. So the way that we do sign language for seeds is like this. We pretend that we're holding seeds in our hands, and we go like this and we sprinkle them around. Seeds. And do you remember what I said the seeds grow into? All flowers start out as seeds. So this is how we say seeds. And seeds, when they grow up, turn into a flower. The way that we say flower is like this. Ready? You're going to have the same kind of hand, like you're holding seeds or like you're holding a flower. And you're going to smell your delicious flower. So first you're going to put it on this side, and then you're going to put it on this side. That's how we do flower. So seeds grows into flower. Can you try? Seeds grows into a flower. Awesome job. So while we're reading this story, we're going to hear a lot about seeds and how they turn into flowers. So I'm going to try to keep up with our sign language while I'm reading, and you can try at home too. Every time we see a seed, we're going to practice our sign language, and every time we see a flower, we're going to practice our sign language. Okay? Are you ready for the tiny seed? All right, let's get started. It is fall time. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Is it going to be able to keep up? See, all of these seeds are nice and big, but this seed is so little. One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up, up it goes. It flies too high and it gets too hot by the sun, so it can't grow anymore. But the tiny seed sails on. So this seed got too hot. It can't grow anymore, but we still have our tiny seed. Another seed lands on a tall, icy mountain. The ice never melts, so the seed can't grow there. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed doesn't go as fast as the others. So one seed got too hot, one seed is too cold. And here's our little tiny seed. He's still going. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and gets too wet to grow. Others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. So now one seed got too hot, one seed got too cold, one seed got too wet, but our little tiny seed is still going. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It's too hot and dry, and the seed can't grow in the desert. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind still pushes it on. So now this seed, it's too hot and too dry, so he's not going to be able to grow, but we still have our tiny seed. He's still going. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed, but the tiny seed is not eaten. It's so small that the bird doesn't see it. So the bird had our little seed as a snack, so he can't grow. But the tiny seed over here is still safe. Now it's winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they're going to go to sleep. Snow falls and covers it like a blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats one of the seeds for lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still and he doesn't get eaten. So now the mouse is going to eat one of the seeds, but the tiny seed over here is still safe. Now it's springtime in the story, just like it's springtime for us. After a few months, all the snow has melted. It really is spring. The birds fly by, the sun shines, the rain falls, and the seeds grow so round that they start to burst open. You see what's happening to all the seeds? They're starting to grow beautiful flowers. Except our little tiny seed. He doesn't have a flower yet. Now they're not seeds anymore. They're beautiful flowers. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up towards the sun. There's another plant that grows much faster than the new plants. It's a big weed and it takes up all the sunlight and rain. But the tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It's going to be too late. Hurry! But finally it starts to grow into a plant. The springtime also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along and, oh no, he breaks one of the plants. Now it can't grow anymore. But here's our tiny seed. He's still growing, even though he's little. The tiny plant that grew from this tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny seed even has 3 leaves, the other seed has 10. And look, now it's even a flower. So this tiny seed doesn't have very many leaves yet, but this one has lots of leaves and it even has a flower already. Our tiny seed needs to hurry up. But what is happening now? There are first footsteps, then a shadow, and then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. Oh, a boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. Now it's summer, and now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows and it grows and it grows. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it, and it has so many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It grows taller than the people. It grows taller than the trees. It grows taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from near and far to look at the flower. It's the tallest flower they've ever seen. It's a giant flower. Look how tall that flower is. It's taller than everybody. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They've never seen a flower this big. Now it's fall again, just like at the beginning of our story when we first saw the tiny seed. The days grow shorter and the nights get colder, and the wind carries all the leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the leaves over the land and down onto the ground. So it's getting windy and it's getting cold. The wind blows harder. The flower has almost lost all of its petals. It shakes and it shakes and it shakes with the wind. And finally, this middle part that has all of the seeds in it pops open. Out comes all the tiny little seeds that fly away in the wind. The end. So our beautiful flower started out as a teeny tiny seed, right? It was the smallest seed of everybody, but he made sure he didn't get too hot, he didn't get too cold, he didn't get too wet, he didn't get too dry, and then he ended up growing into the biggest flower that they had ever seen, right? The biggest flower. So this helps us see how plants grow, how flowers grow, and how awesome seeds and plants are. So I hope you liked this story, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. I will see you in a little bit with a fun art project I have planned for you, okay? Bye, friends. I'll see you later.